The trip to the underworld is a mytheme found in a diverse number of religions from around the world. The hero or upper world deity journeys to the underworld or to the land of the dead and returns, often with a quest subject or a loved one, or with heightened knowledge. The ability to enter the realm of the dead while still alive and to return is a proof of the classical hero's exceptional status as more than mortal. Some gods who die are also seen as either returning or bringing about life in some other form, often associated with the vegetation cycle or a staple food, in effect, taking the form of a vegetation deity. Many of the gods of the mystery religions die, descend to the underworld, are lamented and retrieved by a woman and restored to life. In some cases, a hero goes into the kingdom of death to gain immortality. One of the oldest known examples is the Sumerian myth of Gilgamesh, in which Gilgamesh crosses the waters of death and reaches the land of eternal life. There, he finds a plant that guarantees immortality, but a snake snatches it from him on his return trip, and he is forced to accept mortality for humankind. The Greeks believed Theseus was a son of Poseidon, among other things. He is reputed for defeating the Minotaur and escaping the labyrinth with the help of Minos' daughter Ariadne. But Theseus was also lucky enough to escape Hades. He and his friend Pirithous made a pact to help each other get wives. Pirithous decided on Persephone, so they ventured into the underworld, where Hades entrapped them in magical chairs. And it was during his quest to capture Cerberus that Heracles managed to free Theseus, but was unable to free Pirithous from the chair of forgetfulness. Further reasons for traveling to the underworld include the search for some special object, as in the descent of Psyche. Aphrodite gave Psyche 4 impossible tasks. The last of these was to take a box to Persephone and ask her to put a piece of her beauty inside it. With the help of a personified tower, Psyche managed to pass Cerberus, but against the tower's warning, she looked inside the box, which contained a death-like sleep. Healed from his burn, Eros rescued her, putting sleep back in the box, and Psyche completed her task. In the end, Zeus sanctified their marriage and made Psyche the immortal goddess of the soul. In the story of Odysseus in the Odyssey, to reach the entrance to the underworld, Odysseus and his men had to go to the farthest sunless realm of the deep-flowing ocean. Here Odysseus dug a pit, and around it poured libations to the dead. Then after many supplications, he cut the throats of sacrificed animals so that their blood would run into the pit, whereupon a multitude of the souls of the dead swarmed up. Odysseus ordered his men to flay and burn the slaughtered animals and pray to Hades and Persephone, the king and the queen of the underworld. Next, Odysseus drew his sword and took his post at the pit of blood and did not allow the spirits to drink the blood before he had spoken to Tiresias. But there are also stories that venture deeper into the underworld, into the land of the dead. In his dialogue, The Republic, Plato, for instance, described the myth of a man who died while at war, but whose body did not decay. When his soul reached the gates, was told he would be a messenger and would let everyone know what the afterlife was like. His tour included a scene where he witnessed souls choosing their new lives. For example, the soul of Orpheus chose the life of a swan, and the soul of Odysseus chose the life of an ordinary man. The souls then drank from Lethe, the river of forgetfulness, and were propelled upward to their new birth. After 12 days, suddenly opened his eyes among the living, not knowing how he came to return to his body, and described to everyone all that he had seen in the underworld. Stories the world over tell of descents into the underworld. Many traditions include myths connected with journeys to the other world, undertaken by both human and divine beings. Experiences of such journeys are especially common in the shamanistic traditions, but they are also found in association with various heroic and visionary contexts. within a great number of cultures. An important differentiation can be made between the descent with no return, accomplishing the due of human mortality, and the descent with return made by heroes, shamans, and other extraordinary humans. The experience with return could fulfill different objectives: to explain the cosmic subterranean topography, to rescue someone from the realm of the dead. The beliefs concerning descent into an underworld inhabited by spirits and supernatural beings could be based in part on experiences in which the soul is believed to leave the body during a state of altered consciousness, such as trance, sleep, or near-death experiences, or during the visions and hallucinations associated with these states. The content of such experiences, however, is determined to a large extent by the cultures and traditional beliefs of the persons undergoing these things, but these phenomena also have remarkable similarities in different cultures and ages, a fact that encourages intercultural comparisons. These cosmic levels are often believed to be connected to one another by a cosmic tree or mountain, which is frequently believed to be located in the north. In inner and northern Asia, India, and northern Europe, the center of the world is found in the north. The cosmic tree that connects the levels of the cosmos also acts as a path of communication among them. The Maya and the Scandinavians, for instance, believe that it has its roots in the underworld. In the shamanistic tales of Siberia, the opening leading to the underworld is represented as lying at the foot of the cosmic tree, or at the foot of its counterpart, the shaman's tree. In all cultural traditions, the most important part of the underworld is the realm of the dead. Most of the traditions describing the descent into the underworld are in fact concerned with visiting the dead, though this realm may be described differently in various cultures. In some cultures of the East and Central Asia and in ancient Greek religion, for instance, it is described as the palace of the sovereign of death, or as a mighty dwelling place. In ancient Scandinavian folklore, it is a great hall, whereas in the Finnish epic, it is a large living room. Among the hunting peoples of Siberia, it is conceived of as a yurt village. In the Celtic culture, it is an insular location. Despite the variety in representations, however, many of the concepts surrounding the realm of the dead and the roads to entrances are similar in all parts of the world. One of the universal features of such a road to the underworld is darkness. This is why the shaman has discs representing the sun and moon sewn onto clothing to provide light on the route to the other world. The road is also dangerous, fraught with difficulties and preternatural obstacles that only an initiate or a spirit being can overcome. In Finnish folklore, such obstacles include a great eagle, a snake, a fiery pond or waterfall, and a river bristling with swords. A journey to the underworld under the helpful guidance of spirits is a cornerstone of the classical shamanism. It is not uncommon for people to have chance experiences of descending into it during sleep or trance. In shamanistic cultures, such spontaneous experiences were interpreted as proof that the spirits had selected a candidate as a future shaman. According to a Nancy myth, a woodcutter suddenly found himself on the back of a Minri bird, from which he fell through a hole into the underworld. There, he wandered from the dwelling of one spirit to that of another, and had to recognize each in turn. He was then cut into pieces and put together again, after which one of the spirits guided him back to the earth's surface. This experience was taken to be in the initiation as a shaman, particularly in the view of the dissection and reassembling of the body by the spirits. When descending into the underworld, the shaman tried to solve the problems that were thought to be caused by the spirits. The reasons for the journey to the underworld thus depended on the sorts of spirits living there, and on the way they were thought to influence human life. If an illness was believed to be caused by a loss of soul, it was the shaman's task to fetch the patient's soul from the malevolent spirits who had stolen it. Other typical reasons for descending into the underworld were to acquire knowledge, like Odin, concerning the future, the weather, lost objects, or persons, to escort the soul of a sacrificial animal to its destination, or to accompany the souls of the dead to the underworld. Now, undergoing the process of adaptation to the modern world and global society, some of these classical themes of the descent into the underworld are objects of redefinition and psychological interpretation, using, for example, the Jungian and New Age concept of shadow as explanation. The descent into the underworld has become an inner experience of combat against the personal alter ego. The cosmic topographical implication and the social interest of the shamanic exploit are transformed in a private experience without social or cosmic relevance. In the Jungian sense, this cosmic topographical implication and the social interest of the shamanic exploit should therefore actually be brought back into existence, as we are all connected to the world in an environmental, social, and mythological manner. This through putting our experiences not just in the context of our personal stories, but by looking at what happens within the collective at the moment, in our immediate environment, and how this connect with the themes of mythology, whilst creating a dialogue between ourselves and other Jungians, and these archetypes, or how one could call them in the shamanistic sense, spirits we encounter. In the end, such a descent should not just be cast as a mere psychological exercise. Not all who venture into the underworld come out. Some get lost, or worse, go insane. The descent should therefore be treated with the respect it deserves. This includes the spirit, which we often call archetypes, that we interact with in these depths of the abyss.